snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hi guys! So today is Friday and that means that it's time for Friday Reads again, which is super exciting. And this weekend I have a few books that I'm planning to carry on with and then one I'm planning to start, so I'm going to show you those. I also got quite a few in the post and at a book event that I went to this week, so I'll also show you guys those ones. Let's get started. So I currently have two books that I am planning to carry on reading over the weekend. The first of those is one I picked up at the event I went to, which is The Paper Menagerie and Other Stories by Ken Liu. Eleanor and I went to a book event where we actually met the author Ken Liu himself, and he was so fascinating and intelligent and wonderful, and he was just such a nice guy. So we couldn't help but buy his books and chat to him, and I have actually got this one signed, which is marvellous. As you can see, I am loving this so far. It's a collection of short stories. They're all a bit sci-fi fantasy-esque. They're all kind of near-future stuff, speculative fiction. It's fantastic so far. I've had two stories that I've given like a 3 stars. Every other story has got 5. So it's doing really, really well. I'm about halfway through it now. I'm really liking it. I'm definitely going to carry on with some of the stories over the weekend and hopefully finish this one up because all of them are quite short, so it's quite an easy read. I'm really, really loving this though, so I will report back when I finish it. The next one I have to carry on with is this one. It is called Touch of Iron, and this is by Timandra Whitecastle. I have spoken about this a few times. I've finally started it. I'm about 40 pages in. I'm liking it so far, but I'm not really into it far enough to know the characters and stuff yet, so I need to get a bit further before that can be said. And the final one that I'm planning to start over this weekend, although I haven't started it yet, is Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. I'm going to be reading this one with Charlotte from Ramblings of an Elfpire. I'll link her below. And both of us have been intrigued by this for a while. I have seen the film, I've never read the book, so I thought it was about time to read the book and see what it's all about. I've heard from a lot of people the book is better than the film. I'm definitely intrigued. I'm going to give it a go. So those are my 3 for over the weekend, but I also got a couple of books in the post this week and at the event, so I'm going to show you them. The other book that I got at the event that we went to was this one. It is The Grace of Kings, and it's also by Ken Liu. This is his novel. It's the first novel in his new series. I believe there are 2 out, or the second one is coming out super soon. He described this in a really fantastic way of blending Chinese fairy tale and myth and origins of the Chinese language and all sorts of crazy stuff like that, with airships and steampunk elements and cool fantastical bits and pieces. So I can't wait to give this a go. He said that he describes it as silk punk, so it's definitely interested me. I've heard that this is quite a complicated one, and from reading his short stories I can see that he's a very intelligent person, so reading his book might be a little bit more complex than it would be for a normal book, but I feel like I can do it and I'm going to give it a go, and I think Eleanor and I are going to buddy read this at some point in the future, so it should be a fun one. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I don't know when I'll get to it because it's quite a chunky one too. The next one I have is one I bought for myself, and that is Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. This is going to be our next Magical Space Pussycats book. We are reading this one over the next month, and then we will be getting back together to talk about it and discuss our feelings. So I'm definitely excited about this. I've never read any Octavia Butler before. I have no idea what it's really about. It says, on her 26th birthday, Dana and her husband are moving into their apartment. When she starts to feel dizzy, she drops to her knees, nauseous, and the world falls away. She finds herself at the edge of a green wood by a vast river. A child is screaming, and wading into the water, she pulls him to safety, only to find herself face to face with a very old-looking rifle in the hands of the boy's father. She's terrified. The next thing she knows, she's back in her apartment, soaking wet. It's the most terrifying experience of her life, until it happens again. The longer Dana spends in the 19th century Maryland, which is a very dangerous place for a black woman, the more aware she is that her life might be over before it's even begun. It sounds fascinating. I know that Chelsea has read this before and said she really enjoyed it, so we're hopeful that this will be the first Magical Space Pussycats that we really like. Fingers crossed, that would be great. We will be discussing a lot of cool stuff in Magical Space Pussycats. I believe it goes up sometime today, so if you haven't seen it already, definitely keep your eyes open because it will be going up sometime today, our latest episode discussing Dragonflight and all things conventions. So definitely keep your eyes open for that. I will link it if it's gone up. The next 2 I got are both sent to me from Galanx, and they are these 2, which are both sci-fi books. So The first one is Obelisk, and this is by Stephen Baxter. I've not read any Stephen Baxter before, but I've heard good things about him. This is not too long, so it appealed to me because super hard science fiction in massive form is not something I really enjoy, but I've heard good things about this author, and it's not too long. So, it says 10 kilometres. Why? If you laid it flat out, it would take a reasonably healthy man 2 hours to walk its length. And the walk upstairs, if you look at it, was itself 14 kilometres long. Mars was a small world, but built on a big scale, with tremendous craters and deep valleys, but only the great Tharsis volcanoes would have dwarfed the obelisk. All of mankind seemed to agree it was a magnificent human achievement, especially to have been constructed so early in the era of the colonization of Mars. It says it's a collection of short stories and novellas from one of the greatest SF authors. Contained within are stories set in the worlds of the best-selling duology Ultima and Proxima, which I've not read, but if I like this, maybe I will. And then it also says there's a selection of alternate histories with possible futures, building on Baxter's work with Terry Pratchett on the Long Earth series. Sounds pretty cool. I'm definitely intrigued. I believe this came out on August 18th, so it came out fairly recently, and I'm definitely excited to dive in and give it a go. Particularly short stories interest me when it comes to SF because I seem to find them easier to get into, so hopefully that will be the case with this too. And the next one they sent me is Revenger. This is by Alistair Reynolds, and I said to you guys before that I wanted to read some Alistair Reynolds because I hadn't read any of his work yet. This cover, can I just talk about this? I love this cover, and I usually kind of hate science fiction covers because I think that often they're quite ugly with just a spaceship. This one is beautiful. I love it. I just think that they've put it together so well, and it looks so stunning. So I have to give credit where credit is due, and this cover is beautiful. So let's read what this is about. From the dark, distant future and the rubble of our solar system comes a tale of space pirates. Oh, we're already on something good. Buried treasure and phantom weapons of unspeakable hazards and single-minded heroism, and of vengeance. Sounds pretty awesome. I definitely want to give this a go fairly soon. Maybe next month. Let me know if you want me to do that. Yeah, I can't wait to check out this and hopefully really enjoy it. I haven't been reading as much science fiction as I would like to for the last few months, so I really need to get some back into my reading. Fingers crossed this might be the one. And this comes out next week, I believe, on the 15th of September, so it's pretty soon to be out. The next one I have is called Mindwriter, and this is written by Mike Lynch and Lisa Goodfreeze, and this is an independent duo who offered to send me their book, so I said yes, of course. It says, born with a rare genetic mutation, 18-year-old Rinnie Newber has been kept in a secret government facility all of her life. Trained to enhance her skills as a mindwriter, her unique talents give her the ability to transfer a person's thoughts, memories, personality, their soul, into a clone created for those deemed vital to society's continued survival. Definitely sounds like it's going to be a dramatic one. I think this will be a fun read. It's quite a dense book. It's definitely dense. I'm looking forward to it. I hope I really enjoy it, and I will definitely report back. I might read it this month because it is self-published, so it would fit. We'll see if I've got the time because I've still got quite a few other ones to get through. But thank you so much for sending this to me. And the final one that I have is one I've already read, which is great. This is called Tooth Goblins, and this is a fantasy adventure. It's a kid's book, a kid's fantasy book, and it's written by Ash Toroyd. And I was sent this for review. I have read it already. I read this in a day. It's a super quick read. It's only about 180 pages, and it's really easy to get through because it is a kid's fiction book. I would say that if you have a young child who likes fantasy, they'll probably really enjoy this. It's about an ongoing war between tooth fairies and tooth goblins, and the tooth goblins steal teeth from children because they have magical properties, and from these teeth they grow clones who they swap with the real child on the 13th birthday of that child. Hence, teenagers are grumpy and nasty and all of that stuff because actually they're clones who have been brought up by goblins and swapped. It's a pretty interesting concept. I definitely had fun whilst reading it. It's a very likeable story with lots of fun ideas. I do think that a lot of people would like this, and I will be going into more detail on this in a review very soon, so look out for that. So that is it for this week's Friday Reads. A bit of a longer one because I had a lot more to show you guys, but I'm really grateful to have got all the books that I've been sent, and I really enjoyed going to the Ken Liu event. I do have some footage from that, which I will be putting together into a video because I really, really enjoyed going and having the discussion. So I will put that into a video very soon that you'll see probably next week. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave me all your comments below about what you're going to be reading over the weekend and if you've read any of the books that I just mentioned. And I will see you all very soon in my next video. Bye!
Thank you for watching my video today. Go pick up a book, then come back and chat with me again.